Alrighty, and we are back, and it's time to get ready for our Widowmaker 1v1 showdown. I know that a lot of people have been looking forward to this, especially as they do year after year during the All-Stars weekends, and this is no exception. Obviously, things are split between Asia and North America. That one will be happening next week, but we have some of the best Widowmakers in the world here in the Asia region.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see how this one pans out. Like, I think the Widowmaker 1v1 I guess tournament, whatever you want to call it, the competition. It is kind of technically a tournament, even though it takes place very quickly.
Yeah.
Is, I think, the most prestigious thing that we've done across now 3 seasons of the Overwatch League. It's the one that people remember the most, and it's the one that I feel like a lot of players take very seriously. And not like they're practicing and training like for days and days for this, but I think they really care about winning it. I think it's something that people always remember. It's something that's even referenced oftentimes on broadcast from the casters across all regions. Like, you know, we spent a lot of time talking about Surefour last year as being a really strong Widowmaker player because of his performance in the 2018 All-Stars Widowmaker 1v1 tournament, right? And so I think that this is definitely something that like carries some weight. And this is the, you know, Asian version of it, so it's pretty elite. I mean, the North American one has some really good Widowmaker players too. Actually, I think they're both going to be really fun, but I am excited to see who comes out on top on this one.
Yeah, as am I. There's a lot of great talent that are going to be participating. As we go ahead and take a look at our rules, which I'm sure you will find to be pretty consistent with the previous years. So headshots only, no assault rifle fire, which is obviously your unscoped primary fire. There is no capture point. The opponent is revealed after 60 seconds, and after 5 minutes, the round will end in a draw and is reset. And crouching is very limited, so 2 crouches per second.
Yeah.
So you have to be very conscious of that when you're playing, because it's very easy to just spam this when you're playing Widow.
I mean, that was the thing that I think most people gave feedback about in terms of especially last year's Widowmaker 1v1 was that like sometimes when the Widowmakers got really close to each other because it was headshot only, spamming crouch was actually like a pretty viable strategy to make it almost impossible for you to hit that headshot only. Because if you miss the headshot and hit a body shot, it's not like you don't get like that free damage and then you just eventually kill them, right? You can't just like walk them and go, ah, you could do that, but I'll SMG you. So they didn't want to remove crouching, obviously, because that would that's a huge part of Widow duels in general. But it's limited so that you don't have those, like, everybody remembers that from last year, right? Like the spamming crouch right into each other's faces, and it's like, no, this is not what the spirit of Widowmaker 1v1 is all about, right? So this hopefully will kind of limit those moments.
Yeah, I think that it will for sure, and this is just going to be just, you know, as always, straight up about getting those headshots and whatnot, and also the players keeping track of how many times they are able to crouch. And making sure that they're not over-spamming that. So I think it's going to be a very interesting adjustment to see how it affects the play style of a lot of these players, who we'll go ahead and get ready to introduce as we take a list of who is going to be playing here. Over from North America, now in Korea, getting ready to compete in the top 4 for the Overwatch League is Ons, somebody who everybody has had their eyes on since he joined the league, since he was picked up by the San Francisco Shock. Alongside him is going to be Baconjack, then Carpe, Diem, Fitz, Glister, GodSb, and Happy.
Pretty elite list of players. Ons is playing in this, so he's someone that I think a lot of people are expecting to take the whole thing, just because he's had such incredible performances on Widowmaker, not only this year. I know everybody's suddenly realized, wow, like this guy's such a great Widowmaker player this year. But as you and I know, he was kind of a Widowmaker one-trick actually early on in his career. He was a streamer. His name Ons comes from Ansan Sniper because he's from Ansan, a sub-region here in Korea, just outside of Seoul. And he's a really, really good Widowmaker player, and he's famous for sniping. And now that you know, we've had a whole season of Overwatch League where he's tested himself not only against, you know, in contenders, the Korean players, now he's tested himself against Westerners and Koreans, the best in the world in the Overwatch League, and has kind of come out victorious and has been extremely successful. I think a lot of people are looking at this player as like, this guy's the guy. Like, is he the new Diem, right? Is he the new Happy? You know, we had so many players last year that had their eras of Widowmaker across the season. And this might be, you know, his chance to dethrone Diem. And, you know, if you take a look at Diem, obviously having some incredible performances last year, I think surprising a lot of people at the time of All-Stars. But then you saw in Stage 3, where Shanghai was actually moving away from Goats and running Widowmaker Pharah, and he was actually insanely good. And he really lived up to his championship title of Widowmaker 1v1.
Yeah, guy was just incredible. But I mean, you were mentioning, so much about Ons, and how people are surprised to, to see how well he is performing and how strong he is as a Widowmaker player this year. Diem is somebody that we have not seen that much at all of for the Shanghai Dragons, because they found their formula. They're running Lip when it comes down to the Widowmaker Ashe. They want that flexibility to be able to play that, and Lip just seems like he's going to be a bit stronger for the Shanghai Dragons. So we haven't gotten that much playtime from Diem so far this season, so it's going to be interesting to see how he performs and whether or not he's going to be able to reclaim the title here in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot on the line for him because of this, right? Because he didn't play that much this season. I think it's kind of a moment for him to showcase that he still is one of the best Widowmaker players in the world. It's kind of reminiscent of Pine playing in the tournament last year, where he had been, overshadowed by Nene, because Nene ended up just barely, according to interviews and stuff, Nene just ended up being slightly better at Zarya than Pine did. So he kind of took that role away from him. Pine didn't see much play last season, so obviously now he retired, but he's interested in coming back in as a pro player. He's announced very recently. But yeah, I feel like even though Pine wasn't the defending champion in 2018 season, I think the storyline is very similar. Pine not seeing any play last year, Diem barely seeing play this year, trying to defend his honor and his title. In this case, it's a lot more real, I think, in that regard. I like that comparison, and I think that if he does make the finals or take this whole thing, it's probably going to mean a lot to him, just because he hasn't really been able to showcase his potential that much this season.
Yeah, very well could. So it'll be interesting to see. Here is our bracket. So you can see match 1, it's going to be GodSb going up against Happy, which is a very scary matchup here for, honestly, for both. That could be pretty clean cut. I mean, people talk about Happy being an extremely good Widowmaker player, but GodSb is also right up there. Then we'll see Baconjack go up against Ons, Carpe versus Diem, as you couldn't have it any other way, and then Glister versus Fitz. So some pretty tight-knit ones across the board here.
Yeah, I think Fitz is going to be one of the dark horse players in this tournament.
Very well could.
I mean,
Fitz.
I think he's going to surprise people. Like, I think Fitz is going to come out. He's going to do really, really well, and I think people are going to be a little bit shocked because he has been somewhat inconsistent on the Widowmaker, and he has had, I think, a stronger performance in general on Ashe and on McCree this year. But I think he's really, really good. And in an isolated 1v1, which you don't really get to see that much in pro play, like it's very rare to see like a legit just 1v1 where there's no Mercies pocketing, there's no tank pressure, there's no Zenyatta pressure, et cetera, et cetera. Depending on what the case may be, you might be pressured by a Batiste as well while you're trying to snipe somebody else. But in this like raw 1v1, like it's me against you, that's it. I think Fitz is going to do really well in this tournament. I don't know if he's necessarily going to take the whole thing, but I think he will surprise people.
Well, we'll have to wait and find out, as he will be playing in the last match of the first round. So we'll see what does happen when we come around to them. Let's go ahead and take a look at some stats, however, here before we jump in for our first match of this Widowmaker 1v1 tournament, and see just where these guys, how they add up against each other. So Happy is Widowmaker here on the season, second in hero damage out of 19 players, basically, I was going to say polled, but not really polled rather, their stats up. And second best scoped critical hit accuracy at 35%. That's a pretty disgusting average.
I mean, when you put when you put those two stats together, and you have like that high of a stat on both, it just showcases that your Widowmaker play is multifaceted, right? You're good at both doing damage to tanks and chipping, and sort of helping to win that neutral fight with the tanks, but you're also really good at getting those critical, scoped critical shots that can kill a support, can actually, blow up a tank that can bring the tank down even faster. You can get those flank kills. You're often beating the enemy Widowmaker in that pseudo 1v1, right? But if you kill the enemy Widowmaker, then you have free line of sight. Nobody can really challenge you. And Happy has been a very strong Widowmaker player since his time back on meta when he was in Korea, and then he moved in last season to the Overwatch League. Had some insane games, some of the craziest Widow games we've ever seen across Overwatch League. And he's another of those players that might surprise people just because his results this year, in terms of his team, weren't that great. People might forget that he is an insane Widowmaker player.
Oh, he absolutely is. But here we go. Out the gate, first to 5 is going to be the setup here for each and every one of these rounds until we go a little bit deeper in. For now, scouting out. Both players looking for each other. Haven't been spotted yet. Grapple's out. GodSb did obviously hear that and got a little spot on him. Pokes out around the corner, takes the first shot. Is unable to find him. As Happy's just moving up, looking to line up that headshot. He's the constant moving coming through, and looks like both players being pretty cognizant about how many times they can crouch in a given second, because we're not seeing that spam coming in. It's hardly being used at all, but Happy will manage to find the first round here for himself, so a good start.
Yeah, nice little flick there to the end. It looked like just wrapping around slightly and getting that kill there. It gets trickier and trickier to hit the shots the closer you get, because like obviously the movement range is like quite large in terms of the crosshair when you're that close to each other, and that's part of why you saw that crazy crouch spam last year. Gonna jump up here. GodSb actually trying to surprise him by taking a different approach angle. So Happy is trying to scout that out because he knows he's moved.
Oh. Yeah, the first shot doesn't get the hit. Jumps up over the top. GodSb just going to be looking away and down, trying to, reduce the chances of his head getting clipped there. Happy pushing up, has that reload out. Goes in for the shot. Takes GodSb low. Really needs to dink him now to try to get the kills. The grapple away comes in, chasing grapple out from Happy. Drops down and gets the headshot again. Says sorry, but he's not sorry at all. He's going to be very happy with that start.
Yeah, that was a really nice...
Pun not intended.
That was actually a really nice take of the high ground there. Actually just coming from above. Extremely accurate. And Happy is playing extremely confidently. Like, you can tell that he's not really worried. Like, he's taking a lot of risks. He's moving around. He's using a lot of grapples. And grapple is, it's a double-edged sword because you make yourself more exposed. It's headshot only, so it is hard to hit those when they're in midair, but you also get a wider line of sight very temporarily, so high risk, high reward.
Yeah. And it's also just, you're limiting when you're up in the air like that, your mobility, as GodSb just had no idea where he was at. Happy just takes him down yet again.
It was a pretty tough shot to hit, too. Like, there was not a wide angle that he could take, actually. He just barely got the headshot there before GodSb, slipped back inside while he was trying to figure out where Happy was. This might just be a 5-0. Like, I didn't expect this.
I mean, it very well could be. I mean, a really strong start here for Happy. He sees the jump up, knows that the grapple is down, starts to advance, because he knows that there's only really one spot that GodSb can peek from.
Oh, he's above. I don't know if he knows. He should know now.
He had to have known. He should have been able to hear that one. Tries to turn away, but it will not be a 5-0 sweep at least. GodSb does manage to strike back. Puts himself on the board, but he's got a long way to go. He needs to win out, 5 straight. This is a reverse sweep effectively here for GodSb to try and take this first round and advance forward.
All right. But at the same time, you got to play safe. If you make one mistake, that's it.
Whoop.
And so he does back away here.
Jumps up, looks down. Happy, thinking that he's wrapping around through the building, starts getting an idea that he's not done that yet. And hear the footsteps, takes the shot, doesn't land it. Goes for the grapple, misses. Lands above him. GodSb tagged on the drop down, manages to answer back, and Happy will be able to find the shot in the end, saying sorry one final time, and he will come up clutch. So 5-1, a very dominant start for Happy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Happy definitely came in favored over GodSb. GodSb's been a really good Widowmaker player over the years, but it wasn't like, GodSb's Widowmaker is a role that he slots into sometimes because the meta calls for it, but it's not his best hero, right, by any means. And Happy, for Happy, I think it is his best hero. I think it is a hero that he really enjoys to play.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit favored, I'd say, coming into this one, but he really dominated. He played aggressively. He played without really any hesitation in terms of his grapples. I actually really appreciate that. And just based on his facial expression after the game and on the camera, it looks like he's gone in for more than just getting out of the first round. I think he's thinking, okay, this is easy. How far can we go?
I think that's pretty safe to say. So that's going to be Happy going up against the winner of either Ons or Baconjack, which I'm sure that for the people who bet out there. They're probably putting their money on Ons for that one, but you never know. Baconjack could very well come in clutch, make a little dark horse run perhaps, much like you were alluding to for Fitz, because he is himself a very skilled Widowmaker player, but it is a tough ask for him to take down Ons. So we'll have to see how that develops and which one of those two is going to be getting ready to go up against Happy.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like I will be the one to say it. I feel like Baconjack might be the weakest Widowmaker in this tournament. But I feel like that's something that whenever I say something like that, it feels like I'm underestimating a player, then suddenly they'll come out and tear. But I feel like even though he might be the weakest one, like it's by such a minor percentage. But it's unfortunate that he plays against probably the favorite for the whole tournament, right, in the first round. Like, it's like Baconjack versus Ons. You look at that and you go, ooh, I mean, we'll never really know we might never know how good Baconjack is. Now, that being said, if he makes this close or ends up winning, it's like, okay, we were wrong, right?
Yeah.
So this one is one of those like David and Goliath stories of Widowmaker 1v1 where you're like, okay, we could see a miracle happen here, right? This might be a big upset, and you can be excited for that, but it might just be extremely one-sided. It might be like a fast 5-0 where Ons just dominates.
Well, I'll have to wait and see as we get ready to jump into that round to see which one is going to take it. I mean, we were surprised by Nene's run last year. He made it into the final versus Diem, couldn't win it, but you know, we hadn't really anticipated that he was going to be making it that far, that he was even going to be the member from NYXL to make it further. You know, going in alongside Pine, people kind of expected Pine to beat out Nene in that facet, but just wasn't able to do so. So you never know when when and who is going to surprise you when it comes down to these Widowmaker 1v1s. So it certainly is possible for Baconjack to advance, but like I said, it's going to be very, very tough. And either way, if Baconjack wins, or if Ons wins, I think that Happy is going to have to be a little bit stressed regardless, because if Baconjack is able to take this, it's like, okay, maybe I underestimated him, and maybe I could get destroyed.
I think everybody knows how good Ons is, right? So Ons just ends up being like the barometer, I guess. If Baconjack ends up beating him, it's like, whoa, okay, well, we know how good Ons is, we know how incredible his Widow is. Just to put this in perspective for everybody at home, Ons in Contenders Korea 2018, mostly in Season 1 and parts of Season 2, he was essentially a Widow one-trick, played almost only Widowmaker, and was on a weaker team and still looked god tier on the hero. And he was dominating in Widow versus Widow because it was a Widow meta, right? So he's played so much Widow v Widow and done really well. And even after the meta switched away from Widowmaker during that season, he was still playing it and finding middling success. You know, it was one of our biggest criticisms of him at the time. It was like, well, should he really be playing Widow? I know it's his best hero, but you know, he's getting diminishing returns. But sometimes, even when it didn't look like he should be playing Widow, he was finding kills and caring for his team. He has been an insane player throughout his career, and it's insane to remember too. He was a streamer who became a pro gamer, right? We've had a few of those over the years in Overwatch League, for example, but they never lasted very long. Ons, he lasted up until now, and now he might even take the whole season. You know, he's here in Korea with everybody else from San Francisco Shock, and who knows, he might take that trophy.
He very well could. As we take a look at some of these highlights, we had the stats up before, and you see just how dominant he has been throughout the season. Since being brought on by the Shock, the guy is just extremely consistent when it comes down to Widowmaker, which is exactly what you want. You don't want a Widowmaker that is just one of those pop-off type of Widowmaker players who just needs to get into the groove and then they can do it. Like, it seems like no matter what, Ons is always ready to play that pick, and he is going to excel on it, and help you get that victory. So, I mean, this is a very scary spot to be in for Baconjack.
With Baconjack, he was kind of a Widow specialist for Chengdu Hunters, and they needed to have one because obviously Jinmu and Leave, neither of them, they're not bad at Widowmaker, but they're not at the highest level of Widowmaker that you need to be a top Overwatch League team. So Baconjack was often subbed in exclusively for Widowmaker, and like sometimes Hangzhou and some other weird picks, but for the most part it was Widow. But Chengdu didn't run a lot of Widow, right? So he didn't see that much play time overall, and it's like, it's hard to judge Baconjack's skill and ability because we didn't see him as much as some of these other players that are in this tournament. But we know that when he's at his peak and he's at his highest highs, like he is a top Widowmaker player. That's why he's in this tournament. Obviously, we don't invite bad players to this. So, and we've in fact only invite the best of the best. So, I hope he makes it close. I just don't know if that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we're just moments away, really, I think, from being able to jump into this one and, you know, seeing how this is going to pan out and whether or not Baconjack can find that upset, but the pressure is certainly going to be on. I'm going to consult a third party, if you don't mind, Wolf, and see what they think as far as who this. So we're going to bring, for the second time, Nova onto the broadcast. So, Nova, who do you think is going to take this? She said Ons. Okay, she's leaning for Ons. So there you have it. The cat has spoken. Ons should be the one walking away with the victory, but you never know. My cat's been wrong before.
I think your cat just jinxed Ons, man.
She might have. She could have just cursed him here. But we will find out as we do have the game ready to go, and we're finally going to be jumping in. So I know we've been doing a little bit of a podcast talking back and forth about these guys, but we are ready to get the action started. So here we are. Still going to be on Castillo as Ons is moving his way up onto the high ground. Drops back down. He's expecting a wide flank from Baconjack, it would seem.
Okay. Ons is playing it very safe. They don't actually
grapples up.
They don't have confirmation of where either of them are standing right now. They had like one glimpse, but then obviously both players have moved a little bit, so I think he hears the grapple for sure.
Rotating around each other. Spotted him there for just a fraction of a second. Someone in the doorway as well, so pulls back to deny that line of sight. And these guys are playing extremely cautiously. See if they try to speed up the pace as time goes on. Ons keeping himself safe, instantly pops out, finds the headshot. Gorgeous shot from him.
Gorgeous shot indeed. I mean, this is the kind of, like, Ons is, a lot of Widowmaker players are overconfident or over-aggressive. Like, I personally find that even though Carpe is an incredibly accurate Widowmaker player, he takes a lot of risks, right? And like sometimes it can come back to bite him. Ons takes no risks. He has one clean, perfect shot. That's the only shot he takes, and he hits it, right? That's the ultimate Widowmaker player, right? Take no chances and only take the shots you know you're going to kill with. That was actually beautiful to watch.
Well, we are here now into round number 2. Ons with a nice start. Let's see how he fares now. Baconjack again going to be wrapping around. This time they're on the opposing side of the map. As Ons has been sitting still for the most part. Jumps up over the top. He's looking not quite in the right direction. If Baconjack continued to wrap around that left-hand side, he might have been able to find a nice flank angle on him. Ons heard that grapple come out, and oh my god.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
I thought Baconjack's head was around the corner.
I'm telling you, this is...
Is he curving bullets?
This is actually... I mean, it feels like he's curving bullets, but this is actually the almost purest Widow you could ever see. Like, he doesn't... He like, this is the riskiest thing he's done so far, is like grappling there. And now he just waits. He knows exactly where Baconjack is. He's gonna try to get full charge and then take a shot. That's the first like big miss he's had.
Up on that high ground is Baconjack. He's just waiting.
Peeking here with the emote.
Trying to use everything that he can to get that advantage. Seems like Ons, you know, he pretty much knows exactly where Baconjack is at. It's just about finding the timing. Saw him pop out and the shot get taken.
He lost track of him for a second, but obviously he heard the sound there, so now it's a better idea. Now he sees him for just a second, like saw his leg.
Still waiting. Grapples over to the side, still going to be on that high ground. Drops down. Baconjack is up in the air. Lands on the platform. Shot not going to connect. Gets the dink and gets the double tap. Ons moving forward 3-0 now. 2 more to go, and he's going to be walking away with this series.
It's just crazy to watch how calculated he is. I do want to watch some of Baconjack's first-person view, but at the same time, I'm like, this is insane. I want to see Baconjack's first-person view because I want to see where he's trying to look. Because from this angle, obviously, you can see where he's moving, but you don't know what angles he's trying to shoot at. There we go. Because now I'm like, what is his game plan here?
Yeah.
And he's trying to do like a wrap. I think he's trying to basically make. He wants to get a lucky shot, like not a lucky shot, but he wants to catch Ons off guard. Like he wants to reposition and take a different angle than Ons expects. That's why he's moving so much. Ooh, that was close.
Went for the shot. Yeah, didn't quite find it. Statue, I believe, actually intercepting that bullet. Ons couldn't get the hit that he was looking for. A near miss there onto Baconjack yet again. Scopes out, sees that he's still on the high ground. Drop down comes through from Baconjack. Still playing back around the corner. Grapple comes through. Ons matching. Goes for the shot. Can't land it again. Just continues to play around it. Baconjack, he stays out for a little bit too long. And Ons takes him down. Now, looking for the 5-0. Ons very well may just be able to sweep this completely.
I mean, it feels that way. I mean, we've been watching most of the feed from Ons' perspective, and it's hard to see like where Baconjack is going to make a dent in this. He's trying to reposition a lot, and we know that just because we could see his silhouette, right? From Ons' perspective, you could see that orange Chengdu colored silhouette, and he's constantly trying to find an angle where he could peek on Ons, where Ons can't see him. And that's actually showing mad respect. Like, Baconjack is basically saying, I think this guy's better than me, so I've got to take a different angle.
Oh, that was so risky, peeking out around the corner multiple times. Baconjack pressing forward onto Ons. Seems like he's kind of playing with his food a little bit at the moment. He's trying to line it up very close and personal, and he gets the final shot. Beautifully done. As Ons will be victorious. He'll be moving forward to play against Happy, I do believe, in the semifinal. But, man, Ons still looking just as good as ever here with his Widowmaker.
Yeah. Well, words are hard.
You're at a loss for words.
I think I still have to kind of. I think we just have to kind of favor Ons still, right? Like, that was extremely clean. That was actually crazy how accurate he was.
I don't know if he took damage at all.
I think once.
Actually.
Just Lucky, he types in the chat, by the way. I saw.
How modest.
And like, because I was covered by the overlay earlier, so I just looked at the replay and saw he's like Just Lucky. But like, I think he took damage once. But either way, I mean, the guy is insane. I'm looking forward to seeing how far he can go in this. If he just takes, like, he might take this whole thing without dying or without losing a round. You know, it might happen.
I mean, well, maybe. That's going to be a tougher ask because he will be playing against Happy in that semi-final. But first, we have to go to the other side of the bracket and see what happens there. As Carpe versus Diem will be our next matchup. So that's going to be an exciting one because everybody, you know, since the beginning of time has basically tied these two together. Yeah,
they're friends. They've known each other for a really long time. We had a really cool feature on them last year that I'm sure you could search if you look up Carpe Diem Overwatch League. It's on YouTube, no doubt you can find it. It's really cool where they kind of talked about their relationship with each other, and their names are shared obviously for that reason. And they've been kind of rivals, I think, for a long time, just based on you know, their performances on Widowmaker at certain times during certain metas. You know, Diem's style is very much a safer style. Carpe likes to flank a lot, right? Which, you know, in a Widow 1v1, it's a little bit harder to pull off, but that might be why he takes this, right? I mean, Carpe is a really smart player.
Yep, well, taking a look at their head-to-head stats here, you know, this season, so not going to be as much data for Diem, but Carpe, we've got you know, plenty of it. You can see that he's coming out in the majority of the metrics here. Actually dead even as far as their deaths are concerned, 4.3 for both of them. But Diem does lead a little bit, just by 5% in the scoped crit hit accuracy rating. But again, we haven't seen Diem, and that's why it's a really big question as to how he is going to perform here today versus Carpe.
Yeah, because we know how well Carpe's played this season. A lot of people were really pushing for him to take MVP this season. Philly's been an extremely consistent team this year, the most consistent team in North America, obviously, just slightly above Shock. And they had, you know, so many weeks where, with the hero pools being a certain way, Carpe got to pop off on Widow. Carpe's accuracy is insanely good. He likes to flank a lot, and when he gets away with, like sometimes he looks foolish when he flanks because he gets spotted and Winston jumps on him and kills him or something like that. But when he gets away with these flanks, because his accuracy is so good, he will just kill 2 or 3 people sometimes on these like wild, crazy flanks. And that's part of what he's really famous for, and that's what he's known for. And he got really famous because of Philly's run through the inaugural season, where it was a sniper meta. He popped off, and he's had some hardships in his career too. Like he had to play Zarya most of last year, which he didn't excel at. So I'm hoping he has a good showing here. I think that I'd slightly, based on what I want to say, I want to slightly favor Carpe here, but because we have seen so little of Diem, it's hard to say. Like you said, it's like, who knows what his current form is right now?
Yeah, this is a little bit more wild card here for Diem. Absolutely could just show up here in this match and destroy, or he could flop. I don't know. You know, there's no real way to know exactly how this series is going to go. All we know is that Diem, historically, extremely good Widowmaker player. Carpe has been showing that throughout this season, that he is still fully willing to go for the Widowmaker, even at times where it seems like it is one of the wildest and potentially stupid things that you could possibly do, and he manages to make it work. So there's no doubts, about his ability as well. It's mostly just about how well practiced and how well kept is Diem's Widowmaker, which I'm going to assume is still probably pretty damn good.
Yeah,
we're about to find out as we do get ready to jump in.
Yeah, you don't really lose those skills. They stay with you, and if you're good at something like this, you play it a lot, you practice it a lot, you play it in solo queue, and that just never really goes away. Now, obviously, if you're scrimming it a lot and playing it in Overwatch League, it's probably going to stay healthier and better. But we'll just have to take a look as we jump into this first to 5 between old friends.
Yep, yet again, moving forward. Let's see who can come out on top. Get that nice little overlay up there for you guys, as it's again going to be a bit of a slow start as they both try to get a feel for where the other is going to be. I can imagine that these guys have squared off countless numbers of times playing
no
Widowmaker,
doubt.
Just off stream, privately practicing against each other.
Oh, absolutely.
So probably have a pretty good idea how the other is going to be playing, and it's just about trying to, maybe even just do something completely different and wild this time to throw them off.
Well, I mean, they're both playing very similar to Ons, right? Playing safe, trying to get information before exposing themselves. And, I mean, this actually might be a reveal. We might actually have that because they're playing so passively, and they haven't been able to spot each other because they're not taking risks. So that might actually occur, and then it just becomes may the best man win.
Yep, so are spotted, and now it's just about who can get that pick. Ready to poke out around the corner. Diem giving a nice little wave. Baits out the first shot. Grapples forward. He's using the statue for cover still as they just dance around the base of this one.
This is actually so beautiful to watch.
Poison trap is out. He's waiting for it. Obviously not going to matter as it doesn't do any damage, and he already has the vision on Carpe. Pops up over the top, looks for the shot, unable to find it. Back in behind the cacti here. Carpe goes for the grapple, and Diem just hugs this statue to try and save his life. He's shooting in between the legs to try to get the headshot. Neither have been able to line it up so far, but Carpe gets the first dink. Now just needs one nice little tap to go ahead and finish him off for a little bit more, but this absolutely could still be winnable by Diem, but it's not going to happen. Carpe, up close and personal against his good friend, does draw first blood.
Very impressive start here, though, for both players. I love to see, I mean, when you see the reveal come through and you see the tracking, even through the wall, through the statue, it's like, these guys are so good. They're so talented. I mean, this is like peak Widowmaker.
Speaking of peak, Carpe looking for that hit. Unable to find it. Diem still poking out over the ledge. But shocking to see. Dancing around the statue right now as he tries to get to safety. Took him a little bit, but Carpe wasn't able to strike him down yet. He's waiting for him to poke out around that side. Goes for the shot. Has to reposition. Sees him at the statue. Tries to deny the headshot, messes up the grapple. It doesn't cost him yet. See the push up here over the top as we get to do this dance yet again. Player getting tagged once, jump up. Diem looking for the shot. Carpe does not match. But, oh man, what a quick scope. Diem taking him down, making this already a very interesting series.
Yeah.
1-1 the scoreline as we get ready to go into round number 3.
It's crazy too because the when you're both at low health like that, the quick scopes actually can, I mean, they're the best option. You don't want to hold scope because it doesn't matter. You don't need that power to get the finishing blow. So that's when it gets like really crazy and both players fire a ton. But that was a beautiful finishing blow there from Diem, getting that last shot in. A quick scope, very reactionary flick. And I wonder if this is just how it's going to be. Like, Okay, the reveal there with the hair poking out.
That spots him. Gets a nice poison trap reveal, though, so Carpe is just going to have to sit tight and wait for that to expire. Diem constantly giving him nice little waves. Trying to get the shot through the statue, but can't do it. A smart jump across there from Carpe, knowing that if he just gets, obviously shot in the leg, it's not going to matter, but then he leaves himself exposed for a little bit too long, and Diem takes one step closer to victory. 2-1 here, so still very close. Carpe could absolutely turn this around and run away with it, but I mean, this is probably going to be one of the closest sets that we have outside of the final.
I mean, this is definitely, based on what we're seeing here, I think so. So much respect shown between these two of each other. Okay, that was actually a scary moment for Diem there. He does get away.
I thought he was dead.
I thought he was dead,
too. Done for there. He just can't quite get it. Diem waiting around the corner. Doesn't have his crosshair set up on that statue base, though. So it was a little bit too wide, too big of a flick for him to try to go for. Nearly nailed that one. Here's the grapple coming through. Goes for the flick shot. Can't land it. Now Carpe has the high ground. Will it matter? They're going back and forth against each other. Grapple up to match. Really up close and personal here with nothing to dance around. Diem pulls back around the corner, but Carpe manages to get the hit in the end. We are tied up yet again, 2-2. And I think this might just continue.
Yeah, I
think
think so.
Swinging back and forth all the way up.
Those close-up shots are so hard to hit, too. Because, you have to scope for long enough to actually get the charge up if you want to get the insta-kill. So you have to be scoped while also being close. Obviously, if you've played Widowmaker, you know how difficult that can be to hit a very close-up target while scoped. And in this case, obviously, headshot only, so it's not just like you don't just hit them, you have to headshot them. So, Carpe here, just dancing around the edge, puts the trap out, try to see if he can catch Diem on his rotation. Now he sees him.
Ooh, spotted there. The lamppost! Oh, no. That probably would have led to a kill, but he hits a lamppost, so cannot get that shot that he was desperately looking for. Sees the pop-up from Diem, but can't get the headshot. And again, we're up close and personal between these two, and it is Diem who comes out on top this time around. 3-2. Two more here for Diem to move forward into the semifinal.
Gotta
Carpe.
say, Diem a little bit lucky there. The Carpe didn't catch him when he had that angle advantage. Then he just turns around and takes Carpe out. Actually, crazy turnaround there.
It's a great shot. And we can see Carpe, the silhouette there. Not going for the forward flank up the left side. Instead goes back to the high ground. Did he spot Diem there? It looks like he did. Tries to go for the shot. And Diem very intelligently not going to be re-peeking from that same angle twice in a row. Comes up around the side. Carpe has the spot on this angle. And does drop down. Grapples up, but Diem can't poke out to try and get the headshot there. Has to wait, has to play patient. Carpe again. It will just continue to be a back and forth 3-3 now between these two.
It doesn't get closer than this. That was actually an incredible shot by Carpe, too.
If it's 4-4, it gets closer than this hole.
Well, in terms of the pace that we're at, right? Like,
I know.
Of 6 games, it couldn't be closer to this. Of 8 games, 4-4 would be the closest it could be.
Nailed it.
Um,
Poison trap is out.
Oh, he actually has a pretty nice angle here. He doesn't commit. Because he doesn't know, actually, if Diem's looking that way, then he just dies, potentially.
Here we go again. Ooh, takes a shot. Tries to go for maybe like the fadeaway drop down there, but cannot find that. Looking for the hit. Doesn't get it. Diem tagged up. Basically needs a full charge. Even the slightest little tap here from Carpe will pretty much finish Diem off. He's trying to get it. Now going to be equalizing. A nice shot there from Diem as he takes Carpe down to 69 HP. Poison Trap going to be coming through, but it won't matter too much longer here as they will be revealed pretty shortly. Grapple up over the wall. Matched out by Carpe as he goes up into the air. Diem just trying to hide his head as best as humanly possible. And again, it's just chaotic, but Carpe does manage to take another step forward. One more to go for him to close this out. Diem, can he take us to a final round? Can he make this tied up again at 4-4?
I think so. I believe. I think we're going all the way. It's been back and forth every time so far. Carpe just waiting. Carpe can play more aggressively this time, obviously because he has that extra advantage. So if he messes up, it's not the end, whereas Diem has to play passive, and that's exactly what he's doing, because if he grapples once or reveals himself too early, then it's over. His tournament life is done. So I think we might even see him try to wait it out till 60 to get the reveal to try to win that sort of skill contest instead of taking the risk. He takes one risk
the
here.
Poison Trap. Diem will be hearing that grapple. Carpe should have heard that one as well. So they know roughly where each other are. See Diem looking down at that low ground right now.
Yeah, but that's not where Carpe is. He actually has a misread.
It's not. Oh. Grapple over to the side. He's on the staircase. Now sees him. That is the poison trap triggered, so will just be Diem hiding around the corner, waiting for that to expire. But they are both revealed now, so this is that skills contest you were talking about.
Yeah, this is I think what Diem wanted, just based on the fact that he's down to his last life here. We're probably going to end up in one of those close headshot battles very soon as they approach each other.
It's been happening time and time again.
Yeah.
You can see him wanting to move up that way. Pushes up.
No way he tries it. Carpe is crazy if he tries this. No way he tries this.
Spray coming through. He starts pushing forward. Trap taken down. The wave? Really? From Diem? At this close range. Jumps up, doesn't find it. Carpe going to be matching. Grapples back up onto the ledge. Dips around the corner. Dink comes in. Carpe. One tap will finish him off. He's so close right now is Diem, but he's got to reload. Goes back in, has the bullets, and he gets the shot. 4-4. One more round to decide the winner. Now, it could not be any closer. These guys continue to trade blows, but one is going to be walking away victorious here after this next round.
I don't think Diem is going to play the same way this time. I don't think he's going to look for that reveal. I think he's going to actually be more aggressive. Okay,
Carpe's going really aggressive.
He knows where he is,
Grapples
though.
Forward. Oh, Diem already made his way out, but Diem hasn't spotted him yet. Shot going to miss from Carpe. That was this big window of opportunity. Now Diem has a chance to come back into this one. Grapples up onto the high ground, looks for the shot, ducks around the corner. There's a 360 effectively, and he gets the hit in the end. Carpe will not be advancing. Diem is looking to defend his title for a second year in a row. He takes down Carpe 5-4 in one of the most intense Widowmaker 1v1s that I have ever seen, and he will be moving into the semifinal. And oh boy, he's going to have to play against either Fitz or Glister, depending on who wins our next match.
That was amazing to watch. That was actually super fun.
That was great.
And, you know, this is our third year doing Widowmaker 1v1s for All-Stars. And this is the kind of, like, this is the match that everybody always wants. This is the finals everybody wants, right? We didn't get it in the finals. But these two friends getting this close in terms of back-and-forth games, back-and-forth rounds, I should say, and just the risks both were taking. At the very end there, it was actually crazy how aggressively Carpe was playing, but he almost made it work. He hit a body shot, like, just below the neck when he had that slight advantage because of his attempted, like, wraparound there. Didn't work out. Diem gets him in the end, but, I mean, it is... that was some fine Widow v Widow action. It was also, like... It wasn't just Widow v Widow. It was, like, really good understanding of how to use the game mode, right? Like, Diem hiding and playing passively to trigger the reveal there, so we could actually take that, like, skills challenge and remove the mystery of sightlines and angles there out of the equation. Just remove vision as an aspect and say, okay, this is all about aim and speed now. I'm changing the rules because I'm going to hide, and then making that into that final game that brought him to the victory in the end. Just really, really high level play.
Yeah. Well, coming up next is going to be Fitz versus Glister to decide who has to play against Diem. And I think that, you know, you're talking about Fitz as potentially being a bit of a dark horse in this tournament. Maybe he could make a really deep run and make it into that final. Obviously now has to get through Diem in order to make that happen, which is going to be pretty difficult overall given the performance that we just saw. But honestly, I think that Glister might be able to steal this one away.
I mean, I think there's a chance, for sure. Glister has had his ups and downs this season. He's similar to Baconjack in that he's kind of a specialist player on certain heroes. It's not as one-dimensional as Baconjack, but interestingly, Glister is a projectile player who also plays Widowmaker. He's kind of similar to Prophet in that regard, where you're like, okay, well, he's a Genji player, but then also he plays Widowmaker, so he can kind of play a lot of different heroes. He can play a little bit of anything. You don't think of him as a Widowmaker only player though, like you think of Baconjack, so he's different in that regard. Sure. He's a much more he's more of a Swiss Army knife type of player in that regard. But I don't know, it's like Fitz is besides like his Doomfist, he's pretty much hit scan only player, and he's had really great performances this year on Ashe and McCree. His Widowmaker, we've seen a few appearances from him. So we've seen Prophet play it sometimes instead of him, but I really have to give the edge to Fitz here personally. I think this one, I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as the Ons Baconjack match, but I don't think it's going to be close like what we just watched.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we did have the stats up on the screen just a little bit ago. I mean, Glister does lead Fitz in most metrics. And Fitz, I feel like he's one of those Widowmaker players I was talking about before where he's not as consistent, but he's very much a pop-off player. When he gets into a groove, he can really start to take over a map or take over a series. The question is, for me, does he start off in that group? Because it's only 5 kills. You know, that's what you need. If he can start off very strong here versus Glister as we are jumping into our game, then he might just be able to run away with this one. But it's all about if he can achieve that consistency here when it does matter. So
yeah.
In we go.
Different stakes, too. You know, Glister is out of the tournament, right? He can't win a title. Fitz probably feeling amazing right now based on Seoul's recent performances, but he's probably focused more on winning the tournament than winning Widowmaker 1v1s, whereas Glister, this is his last thing we're going to see him in, right, is All-Stars. So different things to think about in that regard for these two. Oh, the defensive setup here for Fitz is pretty good.
Jump up the top. Does not find that shot, just retreats. But Glister, he pushes forward. They trade blows. Kill not coming through yet, but both of them going to be dangerously low and 2 HP, as you say here, for Fitz. So any charge tap coming through from Glister will finish him off, and Glister does manage to find the first blood and the first round. So a very strong start here for the young player on the London Spitfire. Fitz is having fun with it, though.
He definitely is. It looks like he's having a good time. They both look really intense, though, at the same time. Like, they both look like they are very, 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 like, they care about this a lot, right? Based on facial expressions. Okay, Glister actually kind of revealed himself for a second. And because there's nowhere else he can run, like, either left or right of this statue, like, he's kind of stuck here now.
The back of Fitz's head, it stuck out around the corner there for a moment. Went for the pop shot. Glister wasn't prepared for it, but fortunately, Glister does not get tagged up. Grapples in very aggressively, narrowly avoids getting shot. As Fitz waits to reposition, jumps up top, looks for the hit, can't quite get Glister, who has dropped out around the front. Now is going to be playing around the center statue here in the courtyard. Drop down from Fitz, not going to be able to find it, and Glister just continues to pull away. Now plays that angle on the corner, pushes out to try and pursue against Fitz as he grapples up into the air. Not able to find it, but yet again, here we are, up close and personal in the same exact spot as the last round. Jump up the top, Glister looking for that pop shot, doesn't find it, and then gets Fitz in the end as he pulls back down the staircase. A 2-0 lead here for Glister. I
mean, the scariest moment for Glister was when he was pinned on the statue, and Fitz actually had that grapple, but he missed the shot, right? Then, just like the previous round, Glister was able to then, after that, escape and maintain better high ground control. And he's clipping Fitz, where Fitz has to actually take a more awkward and more difficult shot to make, whereas Glister has a wider cone of vision, like a wider line of sight. And that he's actually been showcasing like just really good terrain movement. Uh-oh. Might not be
where you wanted to end up. And drop down straight in front of his face, and Fitz does manage to capitalize this time. Yeah, Glister didn't know quite where Fitz was. Went a little bit too adventurous there, and got punished for it. So a good pickup for Fitz. Not going to be getting swept in this series. Puts a win on the board. So 2-1 as we go straight back in.
Yeah. Sometimes you get unlucky, right? I mean, that's part of Widowmaker 1v1 is just vision. You know, to take risks sometimes. Okay, Fitz actually has this high ground. It's going to jump back down, though.
He doesn't quite know where Glister's at, but he wants to pull around the side. Glister gets a spot on him, so they're both very well aware now of each other's positions. Fitz is creeping back over, though. He wants to play that angle. So Glister will trap it out, so Fitz does have to reposition.
Yeah, Fitz is actually moving so much and revealing himself at several different angles. It always feels like Glister knows where he is, but he doesn't know where Glister is. Not always, but it feels that way oftentimes. Like right now, Glister has kind of lost track for a moment, but he has a general idea and almost just clipped behind him. Whereas meanwhile, Fitz actually doesn't seem to really know where Glister is, as you can see, based on where he's wrapping around. Like he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Around the statue again. Waiting for their opportunity. They're going to be highlit this entire time through the terrain. Now. So, oh man, look at this standoff. Just playing around the statue. That's going to be Fitz breaking the pattern. Gets a nice little tap there. Trying to get Glister. Oh, no, man. Nice little snap flick takes him down. Tying us up. Very nicely done from Fitz.
Super focused, too. He's got the hand warmer. He is ready.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is the moment where you have to really start to feel. Well, never mind.
What?
Oh, screw everything I was about to say. Glister completely shuts it down. I was going to say this is the momentum that you have to be worried about for Fitz, but Glister just pulls the rug out from underneath of him, instantly destroying him
Yeah, we
as
don't
they
have time
exit the
for
spawn.
replay, I don't think, but
No, we definitely don't. Oh, man, that was so
unlucky.
fast.
Well,
I
mean,
I think it was just highly skilled from Glister. He was ready for it.
well, I mean unlucky in the ironic sense, like unlucky man, but
Sure.
uh,
A gamer unlucky.
yeah, exactly. Like something a streamer would say after losing because of his inferior skill.
Yeah.
But anyway, Glister. I mean, he gets an early win that way, and it feels like Fitz has been. He's actually hitting these really nice snapshots, but it feels like Glister's kind of one step ahead of him in terms of positioning oftentimes. So it's like Fitz is having to play on hard mode because Glister's movement around the map is actually slightly better. He's the one who's making the initiative. At the very least, you could say that with these rotations. Might have another reveal if things continue like this, though, as Glister hasn't confirmed exactly where Fitz was, but he knows now. Like, he knew he was in that area, but didn't know if he dropped. There's the vision reveal, though.
Hello.
Yep, vision is out, so Fitz giving a nice little wave. He's trying to bait him into taking a shot so he can poke around the corner after that to try to get the follow-up. See, just constantly pressing that shoulder out. Glister does take the shot. Fitz drops the scope. Should know that he pushed across to the right side here, but the drop down will come through, and you can see from Fitz's just watching, waiting for a moment where he could possibly go in to get this hit.
Yeah, the statue shots are so hard to make.
Sniper.
Gets up close and personal yet again.
And Glister's above once more. Glister's actually on the higher position.
Yep, the dance begins. Drop down does come through. Takes his time, gets a nice long look at the poison trap, says, yeah, I'll shoot it. I've got plenty of bullets, I got plenty of time here. Even got the reload off. Glister playing aggressive, moves up around the corner. He's trying to get that shot through. He's really playing with fire as Fitz just continues to play back now. Grapples over to the side, tries to get the flank position. Glister going in for the hit, barely misses.
That was such a barely miss. Oh my god. It looked like it hit him in the head, but it didn't.
Yeah, it was like right on the collarbone, so it does not count. Pushing forward, and Glister again finds a shot. Now is just one away from knocking Fitz out of our Widowmaker 1v1 tournament.
Oh, Fitz looks mad too. I mean, well, I say that and then he smiles.
Well, he's jolly.
I mean, he was
jolly
shaking
as
the
all
desk.
hell.
The camera was shaking after that one. But I gotta say, I'm a little bit surprised Glister's having this much success. Like this, in my eyes, is definitely an upset. I know you had Glister favored, so you probably don't agree, but it's a pretty impressive movement we're seeing from him, and he's kind of managing to control better sight lines on a lot of these. Sometimes it's obviously both players are revealed and it's a crazy skill test, but sneaking around.
Oh, there it is, right in front of you. Glister again going pretty aggressive here. He's looking to line up the shot. They're very much out in the open. Everybody going to be exposed. Fitz trying to pull back. Does not get shot. Turned his head away at the right time. Grapple coming up. Glister unable to find the hit. Fitz moves up, drops off that high ground here on the statue. Grapples over to the side, looking for the shot. Turns his back. Tries to run away. Bullet not going to connect. Poison trap coming down. Glister jumps up, gets above him. Throws the poison trap in, but it will not trigger. Jump up now for Fitz, looking to match him. Drops back down, again turning his head, trying to mitigate as many chances as possible here for his head to get tapped. But Glister does find one, now just needs one more, but Fitz finds the headshot, gets the charge to go ahead and get the kill.
Unbelievable
3-4.
He charged too. He was holding charge and gets the one
had
shot.
to.
Yeah. That's extremely risky, but it pays off. Wow. What a shot.
Well, goes for the pop shot, doesn't find it, doesn't get the tag, but knows where Glister's at, so he pokes out, looks through the courtyard, and forces Glister back inside. As he goes on a wraparound here, jumps up onto the high ground, but Fitz plays safe.
Seems like Glister is always above Fitz, you know, this entire first of 5. Fitz slowly has to be the one who safely wraps, right? He's always under threat because Glister's taking initiation in terms of movement. Pop up, risky shot.
Could that be it? It is. Yep. Really risky. Fitz put all of his faith in that grapple right there, but unfortunately does not work out for him. So Glister is able to take match number 4 and advances into the semifinal to now play against Diem. So, I mean, pretty stacked matchups on both sides here. I think he would favor Diem a bit more over Glister, but on the other side of things, just as a reminder, we have Ons versus Happy. So I think both of these semifinals could be extremely entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like obviously feeling like Ons Happy could have been the finals, but we might get Ons Diem. Oh man, that was rough. I'm watching replays on my monitor. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, the crazy thing about Glister taking this too is I felt like he just played smarter than Fitz, and Fitz had some crazy shots too. So I mean, I love to see that though. Widowmaker 1v1s are not all about accuracy only. There's other factors, and that's why it's so cool.
Yeah. Well, here we go, taking a look at our bracket. You can see how things have developed in case you just joined us. So that way you don't have to ask in the chat and try to get an answer as to who won what matchup. So we do have Happy versus Ons getting ready to come up. Ons able to take down Baconjack, Happy taking down GodSb, then Carpe falling to Diem in a very close game, and then Glister versus Fitz here with Glister persevering. So we get ready to move into our semifinals to see who will be advancing forward. And, get one step closer to figuring out who is going to be our champion. Will it be Diem getting a repeat victory here back-to-back years? Or will we just have somebody new take the crown?
That's the question everybody wants to find the answer to. And, I mean, all four of these players could do it. I feel like of the four we have left, Glister is the biggest surprise, potentially winner. But I didn't think he was going to take out Fitz. And he did. It was close. But he was able to win in the end. So maybe that trend continues, and if he does, it'll be a pretty tough run that he would go through, right?
Yeah.
And going up against Fitz, and then who's his next opponent? You had the bracket up. I actually don't have that feed at the moment, so
that was good. So we have Ons versus Happy, and then we have Glister versus Diem.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so to go through Fitz and then Diem on his way, and then potentially to then beat Ons or Happy would actually be like a pretty legendary run if Glister's able to pull it off.
Yeah. All right, well, before we get into our semifinals, we're going to take a quick little break, and before that break comes up, it's the moment you guys have been waiting for. It's going to be the reveal of our role stars for DPS, and there's not 4, there are 5. We could not decide between 4. There was a tie, so there are 5 role stars. Go ahead and check them out.
Damage role star position is one of honor. It's one of the most hotly contested roles.
If you want to be the best, if you want to be on this 1,000 final blow list, you need to be almost perfect with your shooting, otherwise you're going to be the one that's going down first.
Your 2020 damage role stars are Fleta of the Shanghai Dragons, Carpe of the Philadelphia Fusion, Ons of the San Francisco Shock, Sparkle of the Paris Eternals, and Lip of the Shanghai Dragons.
Lip catching 5 members of Seoul, all of them hacked up now.
Lip deserves it because the entire style of the Shanghai Dragons was built around Lip's Sombra. His ability to build EMPs in about 20 seconds flat is so crucial. He's the best Sombra in the world right now, and he has been so crucial to the success of potentially the best team in the world as well.
제가 롤스타상을 받게 되어서 일단 너무 기쁘고요. 다른 상까지 이제 얻을 수 있게 노력하는 선수가 되겠습니다.
Oh, Blade for Sparkle in the back. Oh, he kills Dalton mid-ult too. Oh, it's so good. Everything crashes back down to earth. A quarter kill for Sparkle.
Sparkle definitely gets my nod. As a Genji player, he was infinitely aggressive, especially in a meta that features Shield Badge, Immortality Field, Cult, etc. He was able to not only survive, but get huge amounts of kills per Dragon Blade, and that's a hallmark of a top-performing DPS, especially at Genji.
진짜요? 감사합니다. 그렇게 잘하는 것 같진 않은데 뽑힌 거 일단 많이 기쁘고요. 이번을 기회 삼아 좀 더 나태해지지 않고 열심히 해가지고 더 좋은 모습 보여줄 수 있을 것 같아요. 이렇게 기쁜 기억을 잊지 못할 것 같으니까.
Fleta now moving over onto the Widowmaker, taking the clutch into his own hands. The headshot after headshot after headshot.
This season, what really stood out to me for Fleta was his King's Row defense when he's able to come out in clutch. I've said it before, I've said it about a lot of players that I regard very highly, but he's clutch. Clutch is everything in life.
감사합니다.
제가 최고라고 말 안 해도 사람들이 알 수밖에 없는 그런 게 됐죠, 이제는.
Widowmaker.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think he needs to go on Doom.
Carpe looking for a shot, takes one, finds Stratus, gets sunk in midair, and it worked! Carpe comes back with the Widowmaker, takes them in the skulls!
We know Carpe to be this big impact player, whether it's the Widowmaker, the Ashe, the Tracer. You know that Carpe will have a massive impact on the game no matter the hero, and that's why he is a gold star to me.
감사합니다. 2020년에 이제 최고의 디펜스 중 한 명이 된 것 같다고 얘기를 했는데 일단 정말 그렇게 된 것 같아서 기쁘고요. 팬분들께 감사드립니다.
Shock are going to be forced to go back. Actually, maybe they're not done just yet because Arns is taking over the game. That's 1-2 picks now for him. Somehow, some way, Arns finds a crucial pick to turn that fight.
Arns is a natural sniper. He changes the battlefield every time he steps foot onto it and absolutely deserves to be a role star.
Oh, thank you.
일단 되게 신나요. 제가 그런 자리에 오를 수 있다는 거 되게 기쁘고 빨리 가서 엄마한테 자랑해야겠어요. 뽑아주신 만큼 더 재밌는 장면들 되게 많이 보여드릴 수 있도록 노력하도록 하겠습니다. Thank you so much.
정말 감사드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you so much.
고맙습니다.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The moments that you guys have been waiting for. We are getting ready to jump into the semifinal now of our Widowmaker 1v1 showdown. Starting off, it's going to be Ons versus Happy.
Really, really good matchup. Sad that only one of these players is going to move on, actually, from you know, APAC Widow 1v1. And
all right, you know, Asia Widow 1v1, I guess.
I mean, it's redundant, but yeah.
Yes.
Two Korean players going at it here. Two of our top Widowmaker players, one of our best Widowmaker players from last year. Like, I always feel like people get the wrong impression or they get the wrong idea when I say this, and I think people sometimes think I'm trying to sound like a know-it-all, but what I mean to say when I say these things like is because Overwatch League is much bigger than Contenders, right? Like, Happy came onto the scene last year, right? For most people, because they watched Overwatch League, they didn't watch Contenders. And so it was like, okay, I was personally really excited to see people's reactions towards Happy, because you and I had commentated him a lot when he came into the season last year, and he did really well. And now, like, I have that same sort of excited feeling about Ons, right? Because he's Like, it's, you know, it's our background as being commentators for Contenders Korea back in the day that, like, makes us excited to see how these players end up performing when they do eventually transition to Overwatch League, because that was the point of Contenders, right? Like, will these players perform well enough to get to, you know, bought and picked up by Overwatch League? So both these players actually have, like, a similar story to me, where I was excited to see them, you know, on middling teams, to be fair, in Contenders Korea, but still really great individual players, then get picked up into Overwatch League, and everyone else got to experience that, like, their skill and how good they were and how awesome they were on Widowmaker in particular, where obviously the hero that both these players are most famous for. So now they play against each other again. First time these guys are going to duel in a Widowmaker duel like it was back in 2018 in a while, and because of obviously different regions for these two players. So now I want to see a close match. I want this one to be epic. I know Ons is my favorite to win this thing, but I don't think he's going to be able to walk all over Happy like he did to Baconjack earlier on.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a considerable more difficult opponent here in Happy. I mean, that being said, Ons is he is one of our role stars now, as we just announced. So is still standing here. Carpe as well was one of them, but did get eliminated. So Ons looking to represent and show why he was able to earn that, and that he can earn the title of Widowmaker 1v1 champion here in Asia. But taking down Happy is the next step, and I think it's going to be a pretty big step to take. Do I think he can win it? Yes, absolutely. But Happy is going to be a significantly tougher opponent here, and certainly could take this for himself. That being said, we are going to have one slight little change here, as we will move over to Eagle Point, Antarctica.
Yes.
So change of map. Not going to be on Castillo anymore.
It's I mean, I haven't cast a Widowmaker 1v1 year on this map, but you and I commentated a little bit last year as well, and this map feels like it's a lot less open. It feels like there's a lot less of that kind of like grapple around the middle, like play around the statue type play. You're more playing around sightlines and like archways and doorways. So it's pretty tight, it's pretty rigid in terms of like the shots you take. You have to be extremely accurate. I feel like it's a harder map, if that makes sense. Like everything I'm saying is basically me saying it's harder to kill people, it's a harder map. Your shots have to be better. You can't just grapple up into the sky if you're behind somebody and get that headshot kill. You have to play a lot more carefully overall, I feel, on this map. That's my take based on, you know, commentating last year and commentating this year a little bit. We'll see though how it plays out.
I mean, it can be harder to get into cover depending on what approach you have, because if you're up on those walkways, especially you drop down, you're still going to be exposed because there's no backing wall there that you can hide behind. So you do have to be pretty cautious about what approach you want to take here, what kind of flank you want to go for. I'd be really surprised to see people go for any kind of jump shots off the bat, which is pretty standard if you play, you know, a Widowmaker headshot map on just like, you know, open custom mode games on Overwatch, or you know, if you're playing like a 1v1 mystery duel type thing and you happen to get Widowmaker for you, Widowmaker, people always go for the jump shot. But I don't think we're going to see anybody really go for that, because it's a bit of a Hail Mary play and it's just as costly as it is, you know, an advantage.
It's very much a double-edged sword. I mean, that's why, you know, we called it out on Fitz's final death. Like, as soon as I saw him jump up there, I was like, you know, like, if he gets the headshot there off the blind jump, like, maybe he wins. But he's more like, it's less likely it's going to happen. It's more likely because he doesn't have that mobility anymore because he's in the air, that he's going to get sniped, right? And it looks like we're jumping right into this, by the way.
Yeah, we are. Straight into the game now.
You can see the doorways I was talking about, right? And like the less openness to the map.
Dropping down now, Ons coming around the corner, looking for the shot there on the Happy as he plays around the staircase. Gets the dink, looking for the finish. One tap would do it, but Happy manages to strike back, gets the charge up, and again is still just saying sorry to his opponents as he draws first blood. A fantastic start for Happy.
Yeah, really nice start. Very much a, you know, a very calculated play to hold the charge shot like that. That was basically him saying, okay, I only have one shot at this. I won't get two because Ons will eventually hit me, because I'm low health. So he actually went for the one shot and he landed it. He nailed it. So really nice reaction.
What a ball. What a ball.
A very solid start as Ons just waiting for Happy to poke out. Doesn't get that shot though. Bit of an awkward grapple. Hit his head up against that ice wall. So push him back down onto the low ground pretty quickly. Coming around the corner now is Happy. Jumps up over top of him. And everybody's going to be nice and close here as Happy takes the first little bit of damage. Ons, however, gets a jump up, locks onto his head, and it ties this up 1-1. A good answering kill here, and already a very promising start to this semifinal.
And you can see how much more competitive this is than Ons versus Baconjack. Like Happy's movement, his dodging, like his strafing, I guess is the word I was looking for. His strafing has made it so difficult for Ons to hit those one-shots, you know, those one-shot, one-kill, to use a common phrase, types of shots. Ons is having to shoot multiple times. He's actually not able to charge up fully some of these fights, so it's a much more competitive series this time around.
Oh, just waiting. You see that danger sign. Danger is right. Nice poison trap reveal here as Ons gets some vision on Happy. We should know roughly where he's at now. Knows fully where he is. Ons pushes out from around the truck, looks for the headshot. It looks like this might be our new statue wolf playing around the truck.
Yeah,
Push
I mean,
up
maybe
the top, another poison trap reveal. Happy goes for the shot. They trade back damage, but Ons gets the double tap. Really great successive shots. Gives him the lead.
Yeah, that was actually a really close fight. The truck doesn't give the same sort of like you can't fully wrap around it like you can the statue. That's the biggest difference, I think, which is why Happy decided to go for like grappling into the inside to try to get like a flank maneuver going and try to get a different side angle to take Ons' head off, but it was not successful.
Could have been punished there on that grapple. Ons seeing Happy up above him. Drop down shot not going to connect. Ons just waiting for his moment, pushes up top. You see Happy just peels back, goes indoors. Waits for the next moment. The drop down coming through. Jump up again. Ons going to be doing the same exact thing. Just inverting
That was
the
a
play.
nice crouch by Happy. That's not the one you expect to see. That was actually really cool
time
move.
well. You only got 2 per second, so you got to be pretty cautious here.
Yeah, I really like that though. That was actually really well done.
Happy waiting for his moment. Pushes out, almost gets the shot there. As Ons is grappling forward, but Ons responds so well. Takes him down. Now it's 3-1. Ons getting dangerously close to closing this one out. Happy has to turn this around if he wants to win this, or even just, you know, take this as far as it can possibly go, because we are still in a first of 5. So 2 more rounds for Ons, and he will be the first one qualified into the final.
Yep, got to be very careful right now if you're Happy. Do not want to
tag.
unnecessarily grapple.
Got 80 HP away from him. 120 left to go. Happy poking out, goes for the grapple, sees him. Tries to deny that vision of his head. Drops down, just looking for the hit onto Ons, tags him yet again. One more Tink would do it, but he just cannot line it up in time. Ons moves forward now 4 rounds. 1 more to go. Match point here for Happy, who, I mean, it's not a full reverse sweep, but it's pretty damn close. Needs to win 4 straight if he wants to move forward into the grand final. Otherwise, Ons, our lone roll star here, is looking like he will be able to do it.
He's just playing so reactionarily too against a lot of what Happy is doing. He's just waiting for Happy to walk into his crosshairs sometimes on these charge shots. Avoiding this as best as he can.
Again, the damage coming through. Ons, can he line it up? No, he cannot. Happy does manage to get the second shot this time around, keeping himself alive. Still a ways to go, but it's a really solid step forward for Happy. Let's see if he can keep the ball rolling or if Ons just shuts down this momentum.
It's definitely something that the momentum can shift big time if Happy gets another kill here, though. And Ons, again, passively waiting. Wants to get vision of Happy first if he can. There's no reason for him to grapple unnecessarily here. Happy is the one who has to come to him if he plays like this. Because he hasn't really been playing like this that much. It's kind of a mind game you can play.
He hears Happy. He knows exactly where he's at now. Doubles over to the side. Happy comes up top. That's going to be the poison trap triggered, so still will have some vision on him. Drops down to the low ground. Doesn't want to poke the door yet, but takes Happy down. He's got to be 3 HP perhaps here. Happy needs a full charge shot in order to win this one, to try to keep his life alive in this tournament. Trap comes in. Happy trying to deny the vision, and Ons will just find the hit, will take him out, and will advance into the final. Happy is eliminated, but Ons keeps the dream alive, pushing forward, and now just has to wait to figure out who his opponent is going to be.
Yeah, you know, we could see that Glister upset again. It could be Diem. It's a great matchup either way. coming from the other side of the bracket.
Yep.
This ended up being more one-sided than I thought, to be honest. On's taking this 5-2.
Agreed.
And, I mean, he's just so insanely accurate. He plays so confidently as well. And some of the charge shots he was taking were really, really beautiful to watch. You know, and some of them, too, you could just see he knows the moves that he thinks Happy's going to take, right? So he just waits, and then, he knows that Happy's going to come in and strafe, and then he hits the headshot on the second strafe back. Like, he's even learned Happy's strafing patterns when he's trying to kind of juke left and right. So it was really nice to see some of those headshots coming through from him. I mean, I think Diem might be our best shot to take this guy out. He might be the only one who could do it, and maybe even he can't. It's got to be hard.
It certainly is going to be difficult, but I mean, Diem first has to get through Glister, which is going to be our next match coming up here to settle the semifinals and figure out who the finalists are going to be. But a really strong showing from Ons. Now we have to see who is going to be trying to take him out. Diem, if he can win this, keeps the hope alive of getting that back-to-back 1v1 championship, to be obviously the first one to do that, as we've only had 2 so far. But if Glister is able to get this this upset, then that's it. That's a new champion guaranteed. So we have to see who is going to be able to take this next series and how close Glister can make this, because I think coming into this one, obviously he's very much going to be the underdog versus Diem.
Yeah, I mean, Glister's best, his best success I found in that match against Fitz was actually just by outmaneuvering him and outpositioning him and trying to control high ground. And Fitz, unfortunately, didn't keep up with him. He was the one leading the charge in that regard. I think that style of play is obviously stronger on our previous map than it is here on Antarctica. So, because you can't really just control a massive amount of sightlines with high ground on Antarctica, because your opponent could just hide into a room or something where you don't have any sightlines, and then he can actually wrap around, because there's ways to wrap around without grappling, more so on Antarctica, I feel. So, I don't know. I think Diem is massively favored, but I also felt that way about Fitz, to be honest with you guys. I really did, and I was wrong. At least in on that match today, the one that matters, Fitz didn't take it away. It was Glister actually kind of dominated. So crazier things have happened.
They certainly have, but Diem is still looking just as well practiced as he was last year. It was a very close set versus Carpe, but that's what you would anticipate. If he had blown Carpe out of the water, then that would have been pretty shocking. But it was extremely close between 2 very skilled Widowmaker players. But now we get to see which one is going to take the lead here. If it's going to be Glister, that younger prodigy, or if it's going to be Diem, who has got a lot more stage time behind him, as well as that previous championship in last year's All-Stars. So it would be a really huge pickup for Glister. Probably instill a lot of confidence in him if he's able to win this, because that's something that he's desperately going to need if he has to play against Ons. So yeah, it would be a really big boon for him. Both very obviously, because he needs to win in order to make it to that final, but then especially mentally, I think, to try and to finish off Ons, because that is a really tough ask. And depending on how Diem performs against Glister, if it's crushing, then I think we'll have a very close series. But if this is really close and Glister almost takes him down, then I really do have the favor Ons.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's kind of like the barometer I was talking about earlier. It's like, how do you do if you're the underdog? Like, how well you do kind of leads to the next tougher matchup for the winner, right? How well are they going to do? That's kind of how we can gauge a tournament that happens, obviously over a very short period of time, right? This is not a weekend tournament or a tournament that happens over a month, right? Where there's like preparation and studying. It's like very much you got to go. You got to be on the fly today. You're in bad condition today. If you're feeling a little bit sick, you're feeling a little bit tired, that actually can make a huge difference in a tournament like this. So, the conditions that we have today and how the players' form is today is all we really have to go on, especially when you have players like Diem who are so good, but we just haven't seen them, so there's like no proof except history. So we're heading into this one, though. It looks like the map is up and loaded.
Yep.
It's time.
So back into Antarctica we go for this final semifinal to see who's going to be going up against Ons. That's the pop shot that I was really not expecting to see. Glister went for it. Doesn't get punished, however, but in a non-headshot only, at least would have put him dangerously low in HP from that full charge body shot coming through. Does get away with it this time around. We'll see if he wants to try for that in future rounds.
Pretty horizontal grapple there from Diem to just move to traverse the map. Not looking for a shot, just trying to get that extra mobility.
Glister poking out. You can see Diem just playing around this tube. Knows that he's got covered because of it. Has free vision because he can see through it. So this is, you know, a decently rough position for Glister. It means that he does have to move forward. He does have to close the distance here. Because Diem could just very patiently sit behind this thing the entire time. Unless he can come out with, well, I was going to say, unless Glister comes out with a faster shot when Diem pokes, then, yeah, it's going to turn out just like that.
Yeah,
so Diem does find the first round.
And what Achilles means about being able to see through the tube, the most important part about that is if Glister tried to flank or reposition, then Diem would just know exactly where he was. So that's why he was kind of pinned, even though arguably he had like a larger line of sight and like a larger cone of vision.
Oh. Moving down the staircase, Glister doesn't manage to line that one up. Dude, that really caught Diem off guard. You could tell by the way that he grappled away immediately. Could drop down around the back.
He's playing around this tube again.
I mean, this is definitely the spot to play on this map. You can see he's just got vision of Glister. He's going to be able to hear his footsteps beneath him and know roughly what direction he's moving in. He drops down. There's a tube down here as well, as it turns out. So he still has this to play around, but he's getting antsy. He's getting aggressive. He's moving up. He's looking to get this headshot onto Glister, who kites back as we play a little bit of ring around the rosy, it would seem. Poke out. Glister gets one tap here on the Diem, taking him low. Even a mini charge will go ahead and get the finish. So if you could just quick scope in, that would be Diem out, but Diem gets the full charge headshot kill onto Glister, even at that range, even with the advantage that Glister had. He eliminates that completely and moves up 2-0.
I mean, it might be that one-sided series, you know, that we feared might occur here, with Diem just taking it away. I mean, it's only 2-0 up, and they have been pretty one-sided rounds themselves because Diem is getting to this tube quickly and just utilizing the terrain, he's hitting these shots so perfectly. He's doing it again. This seems to be where he really wants to operate around. The rest of the players are probably studying this. Ons is like, I see, that's where you want to go.
Yeah. I think other players should just race to get to this point. I mean, in all likelihood, you're going to end up just having to play close range in this spot anyway, so might as well just try to rush for that tube. Try to get advantage there.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that's probably going to be the best way.
Oh, made some noise. Shots fly, but neither connects. Diem, rather, is going to be moving up here onto the high ground. Glister is going to be straight down below him. The drop down comes through, but Glister not ready to try to capitalize on him in midair. Diem continues to push up around the tube. Looking for some shots, looking for some damage. Hasn't been able to get any tags yet. Glister is barely responding with shots. Finally does, but it's going to be the same exact scenario that we saw last time. He gets the first initial tag, but he cannot follow up, and Diem just gets that full charge shot to finish him off 100-0.
Yeah, it's looking rough. You could see it on Glister's face too. It almost feels like he's like, well, I've met my match, you know. Diem is playing this a little bit slower this time, but he's still heading towards the same area, the same zone. When I say that, he actually is going further over here. Yeah, I thought he was going to branch to the right and do that horizontal.
I think he's... I wonder if this is just to try to... Yeah, I think he's just fully trying to be, you know, more unpredictable here.
Yeah,
goes for the grapple, like doesn't land on the platform.
Well, he can go backwards now to it if he, you know, if he wants to. He's still close by.
Pulls back around the corner. Glister going for the shot. Doesn't get the damage in. Diem going for the long hold on that one to try to get the one-shot kill. Doesn't have it, and Glister is finally on the board.
That was pretty greedy from Diem, I have to say. That was a really nice punishment there from Glister as well.
It's like, well, back to the tube, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Moved away from the tube and lost. Gotta just go back to the tube. Let's see if he does that. Glister's waiting to see if he grapples for it, and yeah, Diem is already sprinting into the building over towards that side.
I don't think Glister saw him either, because he's actually he's completely oblivious on the wrong side.
Here he is. I'm home. Back in his element. Diem is ready to win.
Okay, the wave too. Damn.
This is dumb. He's hurt him.
Achilles, no, this is the 1v1 Widowmaker challenge. Come on.
It's just, this is as cheesy as you could possibly make this.
Hey, you gotta win. If you want to win, you want to win.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not legitimate. I'm just saying the existence of this tube is I find it hilarious.
Maybe the map will be changed because of Diem this moment.
I like how they're still throwing poison traps, even though they very clearly can see each other through this tube.
The tube is the new statue. You thought it was the truck, but it was the tube all along. 2 health.
I guess so. Ooh. 1 tap. We'll finish it off. Glister has to go for a full charge, otherwise it's going to be Diem moving to match point. He's looking for it. He's trying to get the quick scopes off. Doesn't have it. Does force Glister down to the low ground. Yep, now the reveal is coming through, so Glister trying to put some distance between he and Diem, but he is just... It's so much risk right now. Any quick scope finishes him off. You can see that HP bar sticking through because he's got tube vision. Glister trying to go for the hit. Sees the grapple forward. Knows he's going to be coming up around the side. Takes the preemptive shot to try to predict. Takes him down to about half HP. Jumps over to the side to try to get the upset. To try to get the surprise. But Diem, again, he's just got the quick scope. He's got the accuracy. And now he's got match point in his back pocket. 4-1. Glister, again, a situation much like we saw from Happy where he basically needs to try to pull off a reverse sweep. Can he get another one on the board to extend this?
Yeah, I wonder if he knows. I wonder if he's like put 2 and 2 together that he should try to stop Diem from getting into this position. I mean, easier said than done, obviously, but well.
Oh, okay. He was ready for it.
He was ready for it. He was like, "Oh, you're going to the tube. I'm just gonna hold sightlines on that."
Perfect. Very well done from Glister. He's downloaded Diem now. He had to unpack the files, but he's unzipped it, and now he's got the playbook.
Yeah, he had to like click through that like WinRAR free licensing, and then he was like, okay, I'm ready to unzip.
So I know that WinRAR isn't free, but this headshot on Diem is. Got the round, but you can see Diem, he's playing passively. He so desperately wants to go for the tube. And he grapples to it. He's in safe. He's entrenched. And now it becomes another situation where Glister has to try to retake it. Oh, dear.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but if Glister wanted to, he could actually just wait and force a draw.
True.
Like,
but then
honestly, that might be what I'd do at this point. I don't know if I don't think the draw awards 1 point to both players or anything like that. I think you just keep replaying. But
yeah, I think it just resets the round.
But I mean, if I were Glister, I'd be like, well, why do I actually don't have to respect you hiding in the tube. I can just hide behind this truck.
Yeah, but I don't think it changes that much because while it might buy him another round, Diem is just going to go for the tube in the next round anyway. So unless he can stop him from getting to the tube, nothing really matters. And there you go.
Okay.
Great peek from Glister, just holding that line. Diem got overconfident, thought that he could poke out and get the shot off first, but Glister was ready for the crouch, gets the headshot, and keeps his hopes alive.
Well, the other thing too, we haven't really talked about this on the tube, but the other thing about the tube is that you can actually see, the person attacking the tube can see through the tube and see when those peaks come through as well. So if you're holding fully charged, you can have like that insane reaction time that Glister just had there and pull off a kill like that. So it looks like that was what he was kind of banking on. And it worked out. I mean, this is actually suddenly becoming a pretty competitive burst of 5.
Yeah, this looked like it was going to be a bit of a blowout, but starting now to change pace as Glister continues to counterplay against Diem. You can see he's trying to figure out exactly where he's at. Diem keeps glancing over to his right, longingly towards the tube, but knows that that's becoming more and more predictable and less reliable. So continues to play in the hallway here. Glister just going to be playing around the truck. He's trying to reinstate the truck meta. Doesn't get a spot there. Obviously, we have, you know, the nameplates. We have the HP bars, so we saw around that corner. But now with the reveal coming through, they know exactly where each other are. Glister just waiting. Can he get the same kind of peek going? Diem jumps over to the side. That angle's going to be held. He's trying to bait the shot out, and then
I have line of sight. Don't try it.
The poison trap is out. It's not going to mean anything, obviously, as they're already revealed, and it's not going to be giving any extra damage.
Did that sting?
Grapple over. Diem pulling back, playing up, and pushing the corner. Glister starting to feel it. Can he get the hit, though, is going to be the question. Pulls back a little bit, and this is going to be the dance here. Grapple over to the side, gets him behind him, but yeah, the truck meta reinstated, jumps up on top of the truck. It's all about who can pull the trigger faster and more accurately now, this close of a range. Glister goes in for it as they continue to dance around. Diem now on top of the truck, will drop down, goes back up top, looks for another peek shot, unable to find it. Grapple over to the side. Glister takes himself out of line of sight of Diem.
Diem is trying to play it wide now again and hold these angles.
This is still so dangerous. See Diem, he wants that full charge shot, goes in for it, looking to try to predict the peak from Glister. Grapples forward. He's trying to close the distance here yet again. Takes a shot. Diem goes around the corner. Can't get it. Up close and personal. One tag comes in. 55 HP, but Glister's been in this position so many times and he hasn't really been able to capitalize too much. Just needs to get that one tap in onto Diem before he can get the full charge shot off. You can see Diem trying to hard scope here to get that shot in. Hasn't been able to do it, but there it is. Finally does line it up as he takes the high ground yet again on top of the truck, and Diem will take this series 5-3, a hell of a lot closer than it looked like it was going to be at the start, but we will have Diem going up against Ons for the 2020 Widowmaker 1v1 championship here in Asia. So Diem still has an opportunity to maintain his crown.
I mean, that would be such a cool story, especially because even though he is a defending champion, based on results this year, he comes in as the underdog, right? And it would be like this miracle run of this player who's played very little this season to come through and to take out all these tough opponents along the way and then beat Ons. Like, he's defeated his friend Carpe. The Glister battle ended up being pretty close. And to defeat Ons at the end of it all, that would be an incredible run. Like, that is a Widowmaker 1v1 for the world to remember. Whew.
That would be.
Storylines, man. Widowmaker 1v1 storylines.
They keep getting more and more exciting, and I mean, this final is going to be just incredible. Ons is already ready in the lobby. He's been, you know, I'm sure watching this match, getting ready for it, trying to see exactly how Diem is going to play. I think we are still on Eco Point Antarctica as well, so
yeah, it seems like it.
Ons should have a pretty good idea of where Diem potentially wants to go on this map. So we'll see if he's going to be able to break him of that habit, or if Diem is even going to try for it this time around, because the tube's starting to bite him in the rear a little bit there by the end.
What's the name of the, like, cloudy face that, like, is in Power Rangers that's in the tubes? What, you know what I'm talking about?
I was thinking about that earlier. Is it, it's like Zordon?
Zordon or something like that. I know it's like Z-O-R something. Might be Zordon, Zorton. Anyway, I just want... If Diem ends up winning this tournament with the tube meta, as we're calling it, I want to see like
face.
An in-game. Yeah, I want to see Diem's face like in-game in the tube. Like, just immortalize him in the game, please. Somebody make some art of his face and just like immortalize Diem in the tube. Maybe his face like floats up and down the tube. I don't know. That's what I want.
What was the name of the robot in that? I don't remember.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah, the one that always did that, but I can't remember what the hell it was called. I mean, obviously, Power Rangers so long ago. I mean, there's been a million different break-offs from.
Yeah, this is the original one, though. I think the one that we're talking about.
Yeah, I haven't watched that in years and years and years. So
I think someone just told us the answer, but I didn't hear it clearly.
I didn't hear it. Somebody from production's trying to give us the answers here.
I think he said Alpha 5. I'm not sure though. That doesn't ring a bell.
I think
to me
it was
because
Alpha.
I just don't know.
Alpha something.
Yeah.
All
okay.
right,
They said
there
it
you
is.
go.
Yeah, Alpha 5. All right, well, there you go.
Get this information pumped to us from production. But yeah, here's the bracket. Here's how we got to where we are. A long road for both of these players. A little bit shorter, I guess, for Ons because he had the very dominant performance versus Baconjack. But for Diem, a lot closer of series to get him back into this final, where he now has to take down Ons, a role star, and one of the most dominant Widowmakers in the world, looking to really seal the deal and say, you know what, I am the best in Asia. I've already taken down Happy. Let me get rid of Diem, that reigning champion, and prove that I am, in fact, the best.
Yeah, I mean, both of these players had a pretty tough run to get, a tough road to get here as well. I mean, you could argue both of them had like one easier opponent, but they had one really tough opponent as well on their path. And arguably, like, Glister was the opponent, I think, for Diem on his way here. But it was actually really close and it was not easy. So it feels like a really worthy finals. There was no like easy bracket, no easy way in here. Very, very tough. So does Diem upset here? Does he understand the tube better than Ons? I mean, these are questions we're about to get the answers to.
Well, I just took a glance over at the lobby and I can confirm that there's no tube. There's no
tube.
So this might be good for Diem because it's it's going to force him to break the habit of going for the tube. So we have to figure out what the new thing is going to be on Necropolis as we get ready to head into here. We saw Necropolis earlier during our Ana Skills match.
I can tell you, I think I know what the new tube is going to be. The tube is going to be the tunnel. They're going to end up in the tunnel, Achilleos, where there's and then they're going to be fighting around that. That's my guess. That's my theory. It could also be one of these trees.
Just fight on the tree. All right, well, here we go. We are in. Moving forward, everybody just staying nice and crouched, staying quiet. And a reminder that this is a 1st to 9. So a lot more opportunities here.
It's a very, it's going to be a much longer one.
Yeah.
It's basically twice the length.
What do you think it's going to be? But I think given the caliber of both of these players, it's highly unlikely that we would see any sort of fast series.
Yeah.
The chances of a 9-0, I'll eat my wallet if that happens.
Well, that sounds unhealthy. Hope for your sake that it ends up being close, and also because it would be more fun that way.
Oh, well, Ons found Diem. Diem was looking the wrong way.
Yeah. That's
he
just
thought he was going to be playing up on that top right, and it was a good little wrap around there to get the flank. So Ons draws first blood in our Asia Grand Final here for the Widowmaker 1v1. But Diem, can he tie this up? It was a very pendulum swing match, as we said, versus Carpe. Is it going to be similar circumstances now versus Ons?
That's the question. Looks like Diem wants to go for a high ground grapple, but now that he's heard Ons, I don't think he's going to go for it anymore. Does actually go for it. He's up here now. He's holding this door.
Oh,
trade.
The tap.
Actually, he doesn't.
Forces him to drop down.
Yeah.
No, does not get hit at all. So forces Diem back off of the high ground. See him grappling up top. He's looking for that full charge shot, which is exactly what he needs. Ons going to be perfectly happy to try to go for the one tap here. Get that quick scope. Oh, answering damage now coming through, and Diem will be able to tie it up 1-1. Nice little dancing coming through from Ons, but he just doesn't dance well enough to dodge Diem's shot. So already looking like a very nice and close series.
Very much could go either way still. We haven't really seen a quote-unquote meta develop. Maybe the map is just simply too big. There's a lot more open space here, obviously, than there is on Eco Point Antarctica. So, if you want to go for those very liberal jumps and grapples, like you are very high risk if your opponent does know where you are. You don't really want to go for those unless you don't really have a better choice, or you're trying to slowly tear your way into a higher ground position like Diem has now. He has no idea whether he knows Ons is on the other side of the map, obviously towards this direction, but he doesn't know that he's actually kind of sneaked around towards the right from Diem's perspective. It looks like Ons, because he knows Diem has high ground, is just going to wait out for vision. I say that, though.
Well, they're pushing towards the same side of the map. Ons uncertain if that grapple from Diem was within hearing distance. I don't think it was.
Yeah, I think he's just going to wait for vision.
That's a reveal. Yeah. So just waiting, playing that one patiently as Diem continues to give some nice little waves. Just being as cheeky as he possibly can. Drop down, he scopes in, just sees another wave coming through with a pillar. And I think it's going to end up being these pillars. This is the new thing. Poison Trap's not going to mean anything here as Ons plays around the staircase.
Hello there.
I think Ons probably has the advantage here. Well, not anymore.
Grapple comes in, Diem looking to push the pace. Gets a slight little tap there on Ons. Only 30 HP taken away from him as Ons just going to be staring at the ground, rotating back as best as he possibly can. Gets to safety. Waiting now for that drop down to come through from Diem. Does come in, pulls around the corner very nicely, and now it's just going to be all about the peak and who can strike first. Poison Trap finished off. And Diem just goes back up to the high ground, gets the angle on the doorway. Ons does he try to push for this? Poison Trap coming through, trying to distract him. Not going to happen. They both land. Nice little dink is there, but Diem takes the lead, 2-1. Gets the charge shot to finish him off, and it's a great start here for the Shanghai Dragons player.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just coming down to these insane twitch reflexes and the headshots in like close to medium range with these two, because neither of them are really playing greedy. Neither of them are really, I mean, well, I say that. It was actually fairly safe, though, because he had the pillar and he knew where Diem was. But neither of them are taking big risks, and I think as a result, we're going to continue to see these vision reveals happen, and it's going to be more about the reflexes than like these sneaky wraparound shots or just vision control, high ground control. Those things are kind of end up being less consequential in this series between these two players who play so carefully.
Again, patient play, very wide here, as they just kind of wait for the vision to come through. Diem is exposing his head quite a bit here. It's really dangerous when he has just actually no idea.
I think he's trying to
where
bait
Ons is
a
at.
shot so that he gets the idea of which angle Ons is at right now. I think that's the idea behind this.
Risky. Either way, but that's the reveal. So now they have vision of each other, and Diem just continues to go back to waving. And again, we get to wait and see, like, who is going to go first. Diem grappled up to the high ground last time. Does he go for a similar play? Continues to give some nice little cheeky waves.
Salut. Oh, did that hurt?
Very cautious.
And this is the downside sometimes when it comes to Widowmaker duels. Obviously,
yeah, I
there's
mean,
a lot of tension, but it's not going to be.
A lot
it's going to be slowed down action.
A lot of people didn't like the capture point because it meant that you could win without sniping. But if you remove the capture point, then, well,
you get this.
Yeah, it's a hard, it's a hard game mode to balance perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, you can see each other, but it doesn't really matter that much if you just duck around corners and run forever. Obviously, there is a timer, but it only resets the round.
Yeah.
Grappling forward. Okay. Ons, turn up the heat a little bit. Diem tries to pull back, manages to do so. Shot coming out. As you can see, Ons is right on the very pixel around the corner there, like off that wall, to ensure that he is not going to get any kind of collision of the terrain. Diem grapples up top. Shot follows him, but Diem can't line up the hits here. Continue to just kind of play neutrally around these corners just to see who can get the faster pick. Ons missing a slight little opportunity there. If he had responded a bit faster, could have gotten Diem on the peak.
This is actually almost stalemate territory with how careful both of these players play. Like, it might just be one tiny mistake that ends up actually winning or deciding this round, right? And most things like that. Like, that's all it takes is one mistake and one capitalization.
Well, really good shot there. Great reaction time from Ons. Basically got Diem the very moment, the frame that he came out around the corner. And it does tie us up 2-2. So still a long way to go. Obviously, 7 more wins needed for either of these players. So seeming highly likely that this probably goes to an 8-8.
Seems that way so far. Ooh, that was actually a really scary moment for Diem, but he actually wins it out in the end. What a turn of events. He's actually he's able to get that shot. He holds scope and just takes the shot and makes it happen.
Yeah, both of them kind of catching each other off guard, at least by the look of it there, not expecting the other to be grappling at that exact moment. And Diem does just manage to persevere, pokes out around the corner, looks for Ons. He had the catch on him. Got the flank, got the surprise, but he couldn't line up the headshot, so gave his own position away. Now moves up onto the high ground, continuing to poke out. Ons shows himself, goes for the challenge, pulls back. Knows that he is at a major disadvantage, and that if he goes for any kind of grapple here that is, remotely vertical, he's going to be that much more exposed. Yeah, so just kind of has to wait here.
He's very much trapped and pinned down. I think he has to go for a horizontal grapple if he wants to get away. I think that's his only option here. I don't think he can actually challenge.
I think he's basically grappling to another pillar. It's exactly what I was going to say. He's just got to shift to the side.
Yeah, that's that horizontal grapple that gives you like high speed, so you can hopefully escape.
You see the Diem, he's lost him though. He doesn't know exactly where he's at. The vision's going to kick in. There you go. Now spots him. He's like, oh, okay, you just moved slightly to the left.
Hello there.
Now they will both drop down, and we begin the pillar dance.
Yeah. And especially where they are now, it's like, if you peek, like Ons has the peek on this side, but if, obviously that can change if Diem goes around the other side, but they'll just respond. But if you peek against the person who's out first, like, you are very likely to die. So that's why they play so passively like this.
Yep, trying to beat the shot there.
Yeah, if you bait
did
the
take
shot, you
one.
might be able to get a follow-up immediately, but sometimes you don't.
I appreciate them trying to push the pace a little bit here by moving up against Ons as they dance around the pillar here. Grapple up over the top, looking for the shot. Would have been so impressive if he could have gotten it, but Ons moving up into the air does take him down, and we continue to go blow for blow against each other here. Ons and Diem making this one of the closest 1v1s that we have seen, at least so far. So 3-3, both players a third of the way there.
What an amazing shot. So risky, but he hits it perfectly, charges it up.
And he had a 180.
Yeah, that's actually confidence incarnate.
Yep. 180 and aim down. Diem now spots out Ons, who's going to be looking to reposition. Grapple up over the top. You can see just kind of trying to cheat the vision a little bit there as he grapples to see if Ons is moving outward to try and get a shot on him, but still keeps himself safe. Moves up onto the opposing high ground now. Poison Trap, just kind of a Hail Mary toss to see if he catches anybody. Sees the trajectory of Ons' Poison Trap, so knew exactly where Ons was, but now it's about where he's going to be.
Yeah, he knows, and unless Ons goes for like a horizontal grapple for a flank, he's got control here. So he actually is moving in. I thought he was going to stay put and wait for vision. Now he's actually, he knows the general idea, but I don't know if he knows 100%. Okay, well, obviously vision comes through, but...
Oh, and we begin the dance again.
Yep.
Diem just getting rid of some of those pots, making sure that he doesn't have anything to collide with as he tries to, play a bit more mobily here. More mobile. Trying to pick that shot. Tree protecting him here for the moment. Ons just, throwing these traps.
It's all going to be down to one flick. One quick reflex. Diem. Super greedy
Casting
here.
this just kind of feels like casting golf.
Golf? I don't know.
There's some quiet moments, and then it's like when they get the headshot, that's the ball going into the hole. But for now, we just kind of sit back and give our little dulcet commentary. Hans taking the shot, pulls back around the corner. He's waiting for the lineup.
Hello there.
As we see another wave, goes in for the grapple. Up into the air is Diem, drops down. Goes in for the shot, can't find it. It looks like we will reset for now, at least while the grapples are still on cooldown. Both should have them up. Push back up top here from Diem, looking for that shot, but has to play back. Ons, now they're out around the corner looking at each other. They both do successfully pull back, neither taking any damage so far. Takes a shot to get rid of the poison trap, and again, jump up over the top. Ons trying to line up the headshot, is unable to do so.
That was pretty creative from Diem to actually take the grapple from the stairs, so he wouldn't go up too high, but it didn't work out.
Still so risky here. As they continue this little dance. Another grapple, just hugs the wall, keeps his head out of line of sight. Goes for the shot, just to the left of Ons. Wasn't even a body tag there. I was just waiting for his moment. Does he stay on this high ground or does he drop back down? Grapple's going to be up for Ons here. He could try to turn the tide. Goes for the jump. Doesn't nail it. And again, Diem just keeping himself up top here. Poison trap, again, meaning really nothing at this point.
I mean, it just puts like a little bit of effect on your screen, I guess. There's the kill.
Okay. There you go. Finally, a very long, bout between them. Dancing around that pillar, but finally, Diem does manage to get that kill.
It's hard.
So taking a slight little lead.
It's harder, I think, to shoot upwards in these situations because you have to like hit it just on the edge. So Diem took the risk to make sure he could stay on top of the pillar, but I think that gave him the edge that got him this lead now. Still not even halfway to a championship title yet, but he's very much further ahead now. Or very much closer, I should say. Each one feels like a lifetime with how close these are.
Really close here. Poison trap just going to be taken out. I mean, that gives Ons a plethora of information. Knows exactly what kind of angle Diem is playing with, and should be able to hear him waving hello, as Diem is perfectly aware of where Ons is at.
Now I feel alive.
Gets rid of the poison trap. Grapple comes out. Diem jumps up onto the high ground. Going to be tagged down to about half HP. Ons looking to line up the next headshot. Just needs a little bit of charge to finish this one off. Otherwise, Diem going for the full charge, going for the long hold here on the hard scope, but does get struck down, and we continue to go back and forth between these two players. Now 4-4.
That was a really nice aggressive grapple from Ons. Kind of caught Diem off guard. He didn't know the angle was coming for until it was too late. And all I needed was the quick scope to get the health down low, and then there's no escape. Both of those players have to fight to the death there. You can't grapple anymore.
GodSb left the game. What?
He was like, all right, I'm done watching this. He's like, well,
I guess he was spectating in the lobby.
But yeah, I like that aggressive play from Ons, especially when the pace is so slow like this. Sometimes you can really catch your opponent off guard like that. Go for the double quick scope. If you go at that angle too, you kind of turn the game into a match of quick scope, as it's really hard to charge when it's so open like that, and you've already done the damage you needed. So that was pretty cool.
Ons just sitting in the corner here as they wait for the vision to come through.
Yeah, Ons is like, I guess we're doing vision this time.
We should just start the rounds. We should just start with like 15 seconds and then the vision pops at this point. But obviously, that would require us to rebuild the lobby and edit the game, so we're not going to do that.
What do you think? Do you like that it's headshot only, or would you rather have body shots in as well?
I like that it's headshot only. I just think that we need to figure out something that basically forces them together. Maybe a custom map that somehow shrinks, so they can just keep getting closer and closer.
What if pieces of terrain just suddenly like
behind?
What if the pieces of terrain just start to sink below like the ground? So like pillars start to disappear.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that would be pretty cool, but that would obviously require like a decent amount of map editing, and but maybe something for the future.
Yeah, I mean we're always iterating on this contest because it's so prestigious and so important.
Salut.
Carpe is just like
giving a nice little laugh.
Hello there. Salut. Bonjour.
He said EJ sir, as in like getting like you're starting to get there. So like now slowly, as he's implying like I was slowly gonna actually maybe do something.
Well, he's gonna keep waving. Grapple coming in. Yeah, resetting his vision. Actually goes for the poison trap. Instead of just holding the angle, gets a little tap onto Ons. This happened last round.
You can actually turn this into a quick scope match, I think. You should just chase.
Oh, he's starting to push forward here.
Oh, that was a nice
trap was there. Yeah, very much kind of helped block that shot.
And now he got away.
Angle.
He's pretty safe now, actually. Now he can go for long scopes. Like he's got the advantage in terms of positioning.
Oh, jump up. Ons can't quite get the shot. Hard scope comes in. Diem takes him down. We continue to go back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
5-4 now.
If you stayed down there, he could have had like a nice long scope opportunity. But he decided to go for the risky play. I think this is actually a test of patience as well, I guess.
Oh yeah.
You know, like how much you could stay composed in this like highly stressful, pressured situation, but it's almost tedious in how difficult it is and how hard it is to like make sure that you're always on.
Really close shot there, but both players missing. Carpe is trying to talk to Happy now.
Yeah.
Trying to get his thoughts on this on this 1v1 final, I guess. As Ons continues to play this as slowly and patiently as he possibly can.
Yeah, reveal will be in a few seconds here. There it is.
Yep.
So
there's the pop. Pushing around the side. Diem going to be scoping up. Can either get the other? Nope. Will just be a grapple over to the side. Answered now by Ons as he rotates to the left.
Diem's on high ground though, so I like his position here more actually. Might actually not have that tie for once. Might actually be Diem going up if he can try to make something out of this. It's obviously way easier said than done. Yeah. High ground isn't a shoe-in either.
Kind of surprised that he didn't push out to try to get the shot off after Ons took a shot. The blind one. Yeah, he's just tracing the outline of the pyramid there on the
He's
laptop.
planning a trip to Egypt.
Well, I don't know if you want to be doing that significant of international travel right now.
I mean, for the future, Achilles.
Sure, there. Okay, all right, that's fine. Oop, oop, the grapples. Oh man, through the leaves.
Wow.
Ons gets a very nice shot, and I gotta say, if this just keeps going back and forth like this, then technically Diem wins because he's in the lead. So if they keep going blow for blow, then Diem will just get to 9 first.
Yeah, if the pattern continues.
Yeah, Ons needs to change the pace of this game. He needs to win 2 in a row to try and offset it here.
Happy says, I think it's going to take forever. He literally said, I think it's going to take a really long time.
He is not wrong. It already has, and it will continue to do so. We're just over halfway there for both of these players. So, unless somebody really starts going on a tear, I think that we've still got many a round and many minutes to be used up here.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, we still have action after this. This is just a 1v1. We have the actual proper
All-Star game
All-Star
coming up next.
match.
Yeah.
So we've got 4 more maps of Overwatch to be played.
Well, up to 4.
Up to 4 more maps of Overwatch to be played.
Very likely 3, but up to 4.
Likely 3 more maps of Overwatch to be played.
It's still pretty early here in Korea. It's only 9:30.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a normal night for us, just very different games that we're casting.
Yeah, it's very true.
No ult economy involved in this one.
Definitely not.
Hello there.
Infrastructure will make a huge difference here, though, right? Well,
I think it's time for
yep.
us to see other
I mean, again, Diem has high ground, but it's it's a mind game now. He's like trying to make him do the shot, so he's like on that, firing rates.
Yeah.
He's waiting, and then he takes the shot during the cooldown there between shots.
It's just so risky.
Hello. Salut.
Waves.
Just keeps on doing it.
Hello there.
I mean, if you can bait a wave, maybe. Resident Sleepers in the chat for Carpe. If you could bait a wave, maybe you can capitalize on it. Though, it could be the new meta. If he returns the wave at the worst possible moment, I mean, you never know.
Oh, I didn't think I was going to say this, but man, give me the tube back.
Yeah, right. Where's the tube
I'd rather
now?
have the tube.
I missed the truck too.
Oh boy.
Give me the statue. Let's go OG.
Give me the tube. Give me the truck. Not these pillars and obelisks. Oh,
well, I think we could safely say there'll be some changes to the 2021 Widowmaker challenge. Now Happy says, I'm tired. I'm sleepy.
Yeah. Okay, just continue. Just left to right. Left to right. Oh. I'm starting to inch that way. Nope, back. Yep, back to left. Back to the right. Take it back now, y'all.
Reverse.
Slide to the left. Yeah.
Reverse. Okay, so at this point, I didn't think I was.
I don't even know what the timer's
okay, so
at.
when I saw the format, and I saw they took the control point out. I thought, okay, there's a chance this happens, but I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I don't make the rules right. We all gave feedback.
There it is.
But I was going to say,
Game will be a draw in 56.
I was like, I thought a draw is going to be likely at some point if there's no control point, but I didn't think it was going to take all the way to the finals. But here we are, and I'm like,
okay, wait.
Okay.
But now somebody has to shoot the other before 40 seconds goes down because it has to be a kill. They're nodding. Okay. I think they're making a silent agreement to go.
30 seconds remaining.
Oh, there's the jump. Ons goes for it first. Drops down. 24 seconds remaining. Poking out behind the palm tree. 18 seconds now left on the clock. Again, somebody has to die, otherwise this is going to be a draw on the round. Both grapple up into the air. Ons dropping low. Goes inside the hallway. With 8 seconds remaining, Diem, he drops down on top of him, comes in from behind, and gets the kill. And the pattern has been broken.
Well, Diem's ahead, though.
I think.
Yeah, I don't think it was broken. No, it's the same, right?
Oh, no. No, it continues. Never mind.
It continues.
Yeah. See,
because now
my
Diem's
brain's
up
just
one.
fried at this point. It's been a long day and a very long round. Yeah, so here we go. I think if anything, if you're going to do this, don't make it 5 minutes. Ooh.
Okay.
Now the pattern's been broken.
Uh-oh,
okay.
now Ons is
Diem
going
has
to
done
start
it.
feeling the heat.
He's taken another step forward, 7-5. Something for the chat to wake up about here. No more resident sleeper in these last 2 rounds now. 2 more to go. They push out. Ons instantly gets clipped. And Diem, he just takes 3 back to back to back.
Okay, well we're on match point. Suddenly,
oh my goodness,
out of nowhere, 5-5 for forever, and then Diem with a big triple.
Match point.
Oh,
no way.
Pokes out the same way. Ons grapples to the side, stops
could
himself short before he gets exposed.
I mean, he's in a really bad spot. He's in a really bad spot. This is the most anticlimactic finish to what was a insane slog of an early match.
I mean, ooh, so dangerous. Played out from, between the gap there.
Sniper.
Pokes out again.
He's 1 win away from defending his title.
He's looking for it. He's got it.
He does it.
He's got it. Ons has been shut down. Diem has done it. It was so slow for the longest amount of time. But then Diem, he sets the pace. He takes off in this match. 9-5 at the end of the day. He's just doing his job. He clutches this one out, and he is our back-to-back Widowmaker 1v1 champion.
The first
Obviously,
time that's
this
been
time
done.
Just for the Asia region, but still, man, what a performance from Diem.
And he beat 2. And the thing is, remember, Diem has played very little this season, right? He's, he's been benched over Lip, has kind of taken over his role on Hitscount, on Ashe, etc., McCree. And he went through some of the best in North America, right? He beat Carpe and Ons. Obviously, both still Korean players, so they're playing in the APAC All-Stars. But he actually went through 2 of the legends on the other side, right? Two players he wouldn't have clashed with in APAC because they don't play in APAC. And he destroyed, he destroyed at the end of that series, right? The final one. But it was very close up to that point. A close win over Carpe, but this is a pretty legit win, though. This is like a win where you've actually really earned your way to the finals and then won the finals in dominant fashion there at the end. It's hard to call it dominant. It feels like if you went back 5 minutes ago, you'd be like, wait, is there anyone dominating this? But actually, at the end, it was suddenly, 4 back-to-back kills, which is pretty crazy. That was a really fun ending to this tournament.
It was. I mean, what a tear that he went on. The GGs came out in the chat from both of them. Really, really well and hard-fought series there, but Diem, he just popped off right at the end, got those quick successive kills, and Ons did not get an opportunity to stabilize whatsoever. So that's our Widowmaker out of the way, but man, we have one more special event coming up for you guys here to close out the Asia All-Star event, and that is, of course, going to be the All-Stars match. Like I said, we have up to 4 maps that can be played. Our teams are stacked. We're going to be seeing roster swaps coming through, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing some pretty intense and close action. So you guys want to stay tuned for that, because it's going to be coming up in just a little bit. And of course, take a look at those skins in the meantime during the break, and just go ahead and assess. They're going to be on sale on September 29th to October 12th, so a limited amount of time for you to be able to pick those ones up, and they look pretty damn good. Personally, I'm a big fan of that Reinhardt skin. The Druid look, it kind of looks like Malfurion from Warcraft, so I'm all about that.
The skins
but
are
make sure
pretty
you guys
awesome.
grab those. Yeah, make sure you guys grab those when they do become available. Peep them during the break, take a closer look at them and the concept of them, because they're pretty neat. But we'll be back in just a few minutes with that All-Star match coming up, so don't go anywhere.